Hello and welcome to another Excel tutorial on data analysis. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain how you're going to create dynamic drop-down list in a column. Okay, drop-down list is very important for data validation so that people choose the correct data. So in this case, we have imagined that we are in a school and we have the course names and the course fees already set by the administration. Now when the student come to enroll in whatever the program they are enrolled, we can fill in the student ID, and then we can fill up the name, we can fill up the program. But when we look at the program, we want it to drop down. Okay, so we can fill up the student ID, full name, but when it comes to the program, because we already have the program under the courses table, we want it to show it as a drop down, and based on that drop down we want the fees invoice to be displayed here in this column, and then we can put in the amount that is paid during registration, and then the outstanding will be calculated. So that is what we will do. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my course table and make sure I convert this into a table, because I want the list to be dynamic. So when this list changes, my program list will also change. Okay, so that's why it is important to have the course fees in a table format. So what you do is you will now go to insert, and then insert that as a table. So insert, and here is the table. So insert table, so you go to insert, and then you pick up the table, insert table. Okay, so insert table, and I'm going to call this I'm going to leave this check mark as it is because my table has headers, so I'll do that. And most important part is this here, the table name, because that's the one that I'm going to reference in my student enrollment. So I'm going to name this, and this has to be course fees, so I will change this to course fees. Okay, so that's what course fees is the table, and I'm going to remove the filter button, and I'm just going to format this as a monetary value just to make it look good. So I go to number format and set it as a currency, and this is looks good. The other thing is I want this to be remembered as a table, but I also want to specifically get these columns as individual named ranges as well. So that's why I can now go to select all of this table, right, all this table, and then I can go to formulas, create from selection, and I'm going to use the top row for my names. Okay, so I'm going to name the column in top row, so course code, course, and then course fee. This is very important because we are going to reference the course fee and course name in the drop down list. Okay, so this is very important you do that. So I click OK. So now if you look at the name box, you will see that the course fees, right, course fees that's the table, that's the course fees table, that the entire table. But if I go to just the course fee, okay, you will see that this is the table it's referencing to, and then you will see the course code, it's this column, and also if we see the just the course, then this is the course column. So it's always good to name the columns as a named range, and then you insert the table as all table set, so that you can pull up the, either you can pull up the table or you can pull up the column depending on your requirements. So it's very important to do that in the first part. Okay, so now our course table is ready, course fees is ready to be referenced by the enrollment data or the data sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put this column here. First thing is we want the program to be selected from here, so I'll select this column, and then I'm going to go to data, and I'm going to go to data validation. So we go to data validation, and then I'm going to select the list. We want the list, drop down list. Now in this list we don't want to ignore blank. Okay, so I'm checking it out because I don't want people to leave the program column blank, because it's very important that they have to select a program. So I checked it out, and then my source. This is the interesting part, because we name the course course name already in the course fees table. We are going to pull that up as our list. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to press control function key 3, F3. Okay, so F3, in order to get F3, to get that list, we have to press F3. So I'll just write it down here. So F3 is the F3. Now if in some of your, if you are using a laptop, in order to activate the F3, you may press the FN or function key. Most of the laptops that are you will not get, if you press F3, you will not get the pull up of the column, except until you press the FN key as well. So just look out on your keyboard layout. But a desktop computer and desktop normal standard keyboard, F4 or F3 will do. So I'll press F3, and then you will see that this is the beauty of naming them. Okay, so now all my named columns are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the course name. That's all I want for this list. So I'll select OK, and now I click OK. And when I look at the program column, you will see that the certificate in accounting, certificate in human resource management, and diploma in computing, in computer networking is also near. One thing though is that Microsoft does not give us any way to increase the font size of this list. Okay, but once you select it, the current font of the worksheet will inherit. It will inherit the current font, so it will be displayed, but just the list itself is a little bit small, so just be wary of that. If you need to, that's a list that Microsoft hasn't given us any. There's a way to do it, but it will require a little bit of VB programming or something like that. So but for now it's not the focus of the video, so we won't go into that, but just have in mind the list will be smaller than the font that we are working with. So here is the case. If I go and update this list here, so let me say DIC, let's say e-commerce. Okay, so diploma in e-commerce, diploma in e-commerce. Okay, so if I put this one down and say that's like 12,000. Now if I go back here to my student enrollment, and if I check the drop down list, e-commerce, our diploma in e-commerce is there. So that's why it's important to convert this into a table, and also you have to make the columns, the name ranges for the columns as well, by selecting it and then going to formulas and create from selection, which we did. So because of that, our list is now dynamic when we put the access it through the data validation. So the other interesting part, I'll just put some data here. So this is student 201 is the ID number, and let's say Grace Linu. Okay, so Grace Linu is the first student, and she is enrolled in certificate in accounting, for example, and we want the fees to reflect this selection here. Okay, the exact fee. So what we do is, this is where we use the function XLOOKUP. Okay, XLOOKUP is where we're going to apply here. So the function here will be XLOOKUP. Okay, lookup. That's the function that we're going to use. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we click and type in equal XLOOKUP, and first highlighted what is the lookup value, what are we looking at. So we select this one because C2, that's the lookup value. So what is the table that we are looking at and comparing with this certificate in accounting selection? Okay, so that's the lookup table. So array, think of it as the table name. So what we're going to do is we go to cost fees, that's our table, right? Cost fees, as you can see, this is highlighted here. So I press tab to accept it, and in the cost fees we are comparing this with the cost fees table. We are comparing that with that cost. Okay, so what we are saying here is we want to look at this certificate, this selection, certificate in accounting, which is C2, and then we have to look it up in the cost fees table, and the column that we are going to compare or match with is the cost. Okay, cost fees cost. So that's what it means when it says lookup array. If they match up, then what is the return array? What is it? What is the return value that's going to happen? That will also come from the cost fee. So I will select cost fee. Okay, cost fee again, and fees table, and in that cost fees table I'm trying to look for the cost fee amount. Okay, so that is what it will return. So this is the let's now returning this one 7,000. So if we let's check our cost fee, it's correct. If I go to this selection here and say diploma in networking, then 850 is the cost fee. So this is where the XLOOKUP function becomes much handy. Okay, so that's the first thing. and now we have selected that, it will be automatic. And now we're going to set our amount paid, which will be our data entry. So out of the 7,000, maybe 850, maybe he or she pays, she pays about, say, 8,000 of that, and then the outstanding balance will be this one minus this paid amount, and that's the outstanding balance of 500. So to make this more convenient in a way, we will just convert this into a table as well and make it my table as headers, so it's a little bit colorful. And this is our registration or enrollment table, right? And I'm going to remove the filter button, and I'm going to do a little bit of formatting by selecting the style. I think green looks much better, so bended rows is okay. And I'm going to select all these fees, amount paid, and outstanding balance to currency, so that the K sign or the currency sign is applied. And there I have my list. So when 202 student comes on board, that's Peter Smith, and then the program that he is enrolled in is, say, e-commerce, then 12,000 is the amount that will go in there. And what's the amount that he has paid? That could be maybe 8,000, and then 4,000 is the outstanding balance. So this is how you set up your drop down list, so that you can select one column and the next column is set according to the selection that you do here. And it all starts from your source table. You convert this into a table, and at the same time you also make sure that you name the ranges by the column as named ranges by selecting and going to formulas, create from selection, and then check this out, check the top row, and that's where you'll see these different names coming in. Okay, and once that is done, you go to your the enrollment, the reference table or the worksheet, and first thing you do is your data validation. So in this case, the validation we want it for the program, so we select a column, right, and we go to data and come to data tools, select data validation, and in that list you select the list, and here you want to select the cost. So what you do is you press, if it's blank like this, you press F3 to get the selection list, and this time I'm going to select the course list. So I select OK, you click OK, and that will show the list that is going to be dynamic. And based on the selection, your fees invoice will change based on how much the student is supposed to pay, and you just enter the amount that was paid, and then it will the outstanding balance will be fees, so it will be the fees invoice, okay, minus the fees minus the amount paid, and then you enter it, and that's how it will be when you start entering your, like for example 203, another person like Fiona Alu, and she is enrolled in, you check for the what, and say she's also enrolled in diploma in, and then you will pay say 500, and the balance stays at 8,000. So that's how you automate your drop-down list. Situation will depend on your data requirements or your work requirements, but the process is still the same, and the function that we have used for the lookup is the lookup XLOOKUP, and that will do the trick for you.